Hi everyone, welcome to Soldering Saturdays. It's a pretty muggy day here in Melbourne at the moment, so I have my air conditioning on in the background. Hopefully the low hum won't bother people too much. So today it's going to be hopefully a quick and simple one. I just need to put together a couple of new Neo 7 segment boards, because I need 4 now. Bit of a long story about why I need to get another couple done so quickly, but I will go through that once I start working. But before I do, I just wanted to introduce what I'm doing. I've got 2 boards. I've got all the parts I need already laid out. I'm pretty sure it took me longer to lay all the parts out than it's going to take me to put the boards together, but it's just good practice to have all your parts laid out ready to go, so you don't have to start fumbling around with unpacking things while you've got solder paste sitting on your boards, because you might knock them. I'm actually working so far away from the camera and I don't have my magnifying glass over the top, so otherwise it would block the view. I wanted to make sure that everything was laid out ready to go so I didn't have to fumble around. I'm using, for the first time, my eye extruder. If you haven't seen my unboxing and review of this, you should have a look somewhere around there, and that'll show you what the eye extruder is. I'm just going to jump in and start putting some solder paste down. I've got it set to dot mode, which is the first time I've used it in dot mode. I've got my lighting turned down quite low just because the PCB is quite reflective, and so I didn't want to blind people or just have it where you can't see anything. But because of that, it's going to be potentially quite tricky for me to work. Anyway, I'm going to start with 1. I'll just start over here, and as I start putting down paste, I'll talk to you a bit about what's been happening. Let me get the first lot of paste on. Oh, this is pretty cool. So I've set up my metering to be able to dish out the same amount every time. Oops. It's a bit messy. Right now I've got the reflection of the pads, the tin on the pads in my eye, which is makes it very hard to see what I'm doing. So I hope that this first set of boards I do with the eye extruder aren't a fail, because it'll be really frustrating if they are. Because not only did I spend a lot of money on this eye extruder, but the whole point of it was to free up my hands from cramping by using just a manual syringe. And if that doesn't work, well then it's been a bit of a waste, right? But I'm actually having trouble seeing the paste I'm putting down. I think I might be putting too much paste down. I'm just going to adjust how much paste is coming out. I'm just going to do that now from the menu. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. If not, I apologise. Just going to go to the extrude setting and just turn that down to maybe 4. That's how long it extrudes for. See if that's any better. Looks a little bit better. I think part of the problem could be not so much how much is coming out, but making sure it goes from the tip onto the pad successfully. I apologise if my hand is in the way. Obviously this is quite a big unit, so it's going to block the view potentially. And there's not a lot I can do about that, because my purpose here is to make the boards, and the showing you what I'm doing is, I guess, secondary. Otherwise I'm going to end up with boards that don't work. So, the rush to get these 2 boards out. On Thursday I joined the Adafruit show and tell stream to showcase these boards, which is pretty exciting, and I had 2 boards hooked up that were showing my subscriber count, which obviously I let Limor and Phil know that that's what it was. And as soon as they saw my paltry 56 subscribers, I think they might have felt a bit sorry for me. They just told everyone to stop what they were doing and jump on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. And I suddenly got an influx of subscribers. I think I'm sitting at like 110 now, or 113. So they took me from 2 digits to 3 digits, which was absolutely fantastic, and thank you very much. It was an unexpected treat. I did not go on there to promote my channel. I went on there to talk about these NeoPixel Neo 7 segment displays. But now my 2-digit counter doesn't fit my subscriber count. What a terrible problem to have. So I am quickly making 2 more digits in anticipation of cracking the 1,000 mark at some point over the next 2 or 3 years. Let's just say building a channel these days is a slow process. And so that's why I'm putting these boards together. So again, a big thank you to Limor and Phil at Adafruit for pushing my channel. It was really, really appreciated. It was a lot of fun. It was very exciting to see. Now, talking about channels, let's talk about David Watts. Good old David Watts. If you don't follow him on YouTube, you definitely should. He is a really nice guy who does electronic projects on his channel, and he's a very humble and charming guy who often makes a mess of what he's working on, and this is spewing out too much paste. Let me just give it a clean. So anyway, this morning I woke up. He's working on some, like a binary clock counter, which he's had a few problems with his board and his design, and he's been working on a multi-part project working with some NeoPixels as well. I'm calling them NeoPixels just because it's easier to do it. He's using the SK model version of the 5050s and I think 3535. Anyway, he was trying to hand solder them. He got some boards custom routed. Yeah, this is definitely sending out too much paste. I need to do something about that before I continue talking, or I'm just going to make a mess. Okay, it's going to just do the caps. I'm just going to put 9 caps on this board. Oh, I'm pushing the back button. That was clever. So anyway, he was trying to hand solder them, and on his previous attempt he'd realised that he made a bit of a mess with the board design because they didn't work. So we got some new boards milled. He was using a friend to mill them, so it was using a sharp milling piece, which meant we're not very accurate and they're not very fine detail. Anyway, he got one pixel working, a 50-50 pixel working this morning, and he tried putting a 35-35 on it, and of course it failed because the underneath of the 35-35, the solder pads, the joints were too big, and I think they were bridging and shorting. And so the problem with that was that I just think, the whole idea of potentially hand soldering surface mount parts like that, especially when they're fiddly and they've got plastic on them and you can burn the edges of them with an iron and stuff like that. I don't know, I felt like it was fun to watch, I gotta say. I had a good giggle, but Dave, if you're watching, which I don't think you are because you have no idea who I am, but if you ever do watch this video, seriously mate, I love watching you struggle the way you do because it's kind of funny, but you should definitely use solder paste for surface mount stuff. Even the boards you're using right now, don't hand solder them, just get some solder paste, put some solder paste on the pads and plonk the components on the top. Bet yourself oh, that's a nice blob there, isn't it? Get yourself a nice 20-pound toaster oven. Okay, they're going to bridge, maybe. I'm a bit worried about that. I'm definitely not doing a good job with this eye extruder, I have to say. It's not giving me a lot of consistency at the moment. I'm just going to clean some of that off, if I can, and try that again. So far, hit and miss with this eye extruder, folks. Anyway, back to David. David, please just get yourself a toaster oven and do some reflow. I mean, there are some surface mount parts that you can do with an iron. Some, dip 8 packages maybe. Or some, regulators, some SOT packages, but pixels? No, don't. Just get yourself some solder paste, please. I think maybe I'll have to send David a toaster oven. It's a really inspiring channel. It's one of the, there are a lot of YouTubers that I watch that have inspired me to start my own channel. I'm not building a channel to become a famous YouTuber. Trust me, that's definitely not my thing. I'm kind of a behind the scenes kind of guy, not a public facing kind of guy, believe it or not. But David's one of the inspiring people that really showed me that you don't have to be a professional. Sorry, David. You don't have to be a professional to have a channel and work with electronics. There are so many people out there that have channels that you just watch their stuff and you learn from and you think, wow, I'm never going to be as smart as these people. I'm never going to be able to do what these people do. But the truth is, you don't really have to. You just need to build something that works. It doesn't have to be the most technically correct thing ever. It doesn't have to be put together well either. It's not like any of us are building commercial products and shipping them. Although David's binary clock, he does want to send out kits for people to make. But that's different. You send them out to a hobby market of people who can build and troubleshoot and work together on things. They're not end consumers who growl when things don't work as expected. Another channel I started watching recently, really great stuff, is Brian Locke from Ireland. I've got the worst Irish accent. I'm not even going to try. I'll just embarrass myself. He does a lot of stuff, a lot of coding. Oops, don't want to do there. He does a lot of coding, a lot of board stuff. He loves his ESP 8266s, but I think he's going to start doing more with ESP32s. It was because of him that I actually went out and bought a bunch of Wemos D1 minis. And I'm going to use a Wemos D1 mini for this subscriber counter. So here's another channel to watch. They're both, I think it's just David Watts. It's the name of the channel, and Brian Locke, spelled L-O-U-G-H in typical Irish fashion. Don't spell anything the way it's read. Okay, almost there. I hope you guys are finding this entertaining. I'm actually finding this quite frustrating. I should have done some more playing with this eye extruder before I started using it on these boards. I've got spare boards and I've got spare parts. It's not like I'm going to run out, but I don't like wastage. I definitely don't like wastage when I spend an hour just to get to the point of wasting it. That's annoying. Okay. Got some very cool projects I'm working on at the moment. I got a laser cutter, which is taking up a lot of my time right now because I need to get it set up and modified and working. I actually need the laser cutter to finish this Neo 7 segment project. It's one of the main reasons I bought it. So there's kind of like taking up a lot of my time. And of course I'm videoing my progress with it as well. Okay, so now I just need to do the caps, I believe, and then I can start placing parts. So now it looks like it's too little paste coming out. It's much easier to touch them up afterwards, I guess. Maybe I'll just go on the side of less. So anyway, I feel like a lot of my project work right now is not electronics related, and that's kind of okay because I like more than just electronics, but I think electronics and working with microcontrollers is definitely on the top of my list of favourite things to do. So I can't wait to get back into finishing recording some of the projects I'm working on right now. Some of them are pretty hardcore electronics projects, PCB design stuff, and some of them are lo-fi, kind of just, using components with Arduinos and building things. Okay, I have two boards. I'm going to just populate these. and then I'm going to put them in a toaster oven. So start off with the resistor. I've got that on. Bit of a struggle, as I said, without being able to use my magnifying glass. I'm going to just put my hand over to steady my hand. I need a bit more steady. Generally got pretty steady hands, but let me tell you, this is nerve-wracking. Actually move this board out the way, and I might have to, I don't want to put my hand over the top because then you can't see what I'm doing. I feel like I just don't have enough control with my hands. I'm actually working about 15 centimeters away from the board on a quite sharp angle, where normally I just work straight over the top. Now I have recorded a new video that goes through a first pass of my code for these boards that shows it displaying obviously numbers and 8F for hex, but then a whole bunch of other letters, and basically any letter that a 7-segment display can show. I've got it programmed. And actually I set all that up and I recorded it all, and it just displays a single digit right now. But then for my show and tell project on Thursday, I thought I better get it showing my subscriber count, because there's no point just showing one working. So I implemented the multi-digit support in my library, but of course that was after I recorded my video. So I am going to have to do a part 2 on that. But that video will be coming out this week. It's not a very long one, and it's not super in-depth, mainly because a lot of my library is going to change. It's really just, I wouldn't call it hacked together, but yeah, let's call it hacked together. It's functional. It's got some cool features, and it's just to let everyone know it's completely reliant on the Adafruit NeoPixel library. I'm not reinventing that wheel. That's an awesome library. And so it's going to use that. Don't know if there's enough paste on there. Hope everyone can see what I'm doing. It's tiny. Is that even in focus? God, it doesn't even look like it's in focus. Yeah, it's about as in focus as it's going to get. The problem is just the shininess. The camera just can't deal with the bright white of the pixels and the silvery. Just the light gets reflected into the lens and it blows the image out. You can see from the matte that it's kind of in focus. Might need to invest in a new overhead camera. Why do I have an extra cap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because one of them belongs on that side. Greedy. Okay, that's one board. I'm going to populate both boards and I'm going to put them in the toaster oven, but I'm going to do them separately. I'm not going to try to, whoops. Damn. I'm not going to try to do them at the same time. I'm going to move that over without touching it if I can. Okay. Dangerous. Okay, next. Let's see if I can try to focus that again. Sorry if the camera wobbles. Yeah, that's focused. It's about as focused as it's going to get. Okay, resistor. I'm going to knock the other board with my hand. So I'm going to put the resistor down. I'm going to move this board out of the way, because that is just asking for trouble. Asking for trouble. Okay. Also, I think I have decided to redesign these boards, do a revision 2, and I'll do that on a video. I'm not going to just do it in the background, but I want to remove a bunch of these spots for caps. We just don't need them. And I also want to add the decimal point pixel, I think, because that could be useful for people. The library will obviously not use it if it doesn't need it. Sorry about my hands. So I want to do that before I set up a Tindy store for the boards. As cool as these are, I'll just use these myself. But it's not a real 7-segment display until it's got all the capabilities of a normal 7-segment display. I believe it is possible to get 7-segment displays without the decimal point, but it just means the board's going to have to be a bit wider, because there's going to have to be able to put another pixel over here. So this edge is going to have to stick out further, that's all. But that's not necessarily a problem. You don't want the digits too close to each other anyway. The other thing I'm definitely going to do, because it was a nice idea but it was a bad idea, was these headers that are on an angle. Yeah, that's got to go. Makes it very hard to use them in a breadboard for prototyping, or even just connecting them up, having them on an angle. Yeah, it looks fancy, but I can't really say that it was a good idea. So I'm just going to square them up, I think. Okay, I really hope these work. I don't want to have to do this again. So I never mentioned, but my first few boards that I built, they had faulty NeoPixels on them. I bought a whole bunch of NeoPixels, and they were just, individually they worked, but as soon as you strung 3 or 4 together, they stopped working, and it was a random one each time. They were just really poor quality, which was a super frustrating thing. So I went out and bought reels of them, of good quality ones, which were, you know, a lot more expensive. Well, not just because they came in reels, but that's fine, but just because they were much better quality. And you get what you pay for, folks, especially when you're shipping from China. So, super glad I haven't had one failed pixel since then. Okay, that is 2 boards done. I'm going to disappear. I'm going to roast them in my oven, and I'm going to come back and test them on video and make sure they work. Okay, back shortly. Hey everyone, I'm back. Yay! And I've got some stuff in front of me ready to go. I've got my iron out because I need to put these header pins in so I can connect them up. The boards look pretty good. I did a quick past inspection and I can't visually see anything that's bad with them. So I'm just going to power them up and see how we go. I've got my other 2 sitting here right now with a number 1 and a 2 on it, and they're ready to connect Daisy Dane 2 more with a 3 and a 4. So hopefully this will go pretty well, nice and straightforward. Let's start putting these header pins in. Just going to do 2 at a time. So while I get all this ready and start soldering, I was going through some of the amazing, inspiring YouTubers that I follow that inspired me to do my own channel. Some other ones that I haven't mentioned yet that are very important. Sean Hodgkins, who's Idle Dev, was it Idle Hands Dev? I believe that's his Kickstarter and his website and his YouTube, his Twitter, I think. He is pretty awesome. He does some amazing projects, but the thing with his channel and me is that I watched him build a microcontroller board. So my cable's going to just push those the 7 segments around, that's fine. I watched him design and build a microcontroller board from scratch, pretty much, in one of his videos. And I thought to myself, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. And so he actually inspired me to build my very first, design and build my very first microcontroller board based on a SAMD 21, which I did. Whoops, that's a bridge. Very hard to do this in this lighting, I have to say. Okay, that's a fail. Wow. I really can't talk and concentrate at the same time. I need to get some wick. I hate using wick, especially on lead-free solder. Let's see how this goes. I never find that the wick gets hot enough. Just can't get the temp hot enough to get rid of the solder. So this is going to be dangerous. I don't really want to wreck a board because of that. So I don't want to destroy any of my traces underneath. Wow, okay, I need to concentrate more, guys. This is called Soldering Saturday Embarrassing Episodes. Come on, melt. It's not wanting to melt. Okay, I need to turn that around. Let's re-tin my iron. Come on, get onto that iron. Come on, come on, come on. Get it. Okay, I might need to lift my temperature a bit more. Sorry about my arm in the way. This was supposed to be a very quick session of soldering and testing, but already I am doing a hack job. Come on. Heat up. Has anyone got any recommendations on how to use solder wick on? Wow. How do you solder wick with lead-free solder at high temps? I'd really appreciate it because this is... I'm just going to wreck this board if I keep doing this. Okay, I think I got it. Wow. Let's not do that again, folks. Whew. Okay, let's go back to this talk about... I'll have to check the continuity of those once they're done. Yes, let's go back to Sean. He's amazing. He does amazing projects. Really inspiring. He just had a Kickstarter for one of his projects, a Pixel, he called it, which I was the first backer on. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to make sure I got one because I missed out on his previous Kickstarter. And I got number 1, which was exciting. So, some other people. Great Scott. What an amazing, amazing channel. Unfortunately, he just makes me feel silly because he's just so smart and the way he teaches his stuff is just incredible. His videos are really, really, really good quality. I'm going to put the iron down. I'm being very silly on this video, guys. Anyway, Great Scott, amazing content if you want to learn about all sorts of stuff, electronics, microcontrollers, just general stuff. His theory is great. He does it in a really easy to understand manner. But as I said, you know, he just shows me every time I watch one of his videos just how far behind the learning curve I am. I really need a new iron. I think this iron is just terrible. And another one that I love, just because he's absolutely zany, is Blit Looney's Lab. He's just a funny guy. He does some really interesting projects as well. Right now he's doing a lot of stuff with vision, with microcontrollers, and like he just did one on sending out component vision to a TV, which is crazy. And he's a loony, bit loony. He's a loony. He does some very funny stuff. So I love watching his content as well. Okay, iron off. I am very nervous now. I feel like I should test the continuity on these first, because I think I might have put too much heat on this board. So let's do that, shall we? Let's go into continuity mode. Oops, hope I pushed the right button. Not sure if you can hear that. Okay, let's try ground to ground. Okay, it's good. Let's try power to power. That's not good. Oh. Yeah, okay, maybe. Let's try data to data. This is the one I'm scared about. Yep, that's fine. Let's try this board. Okay, ground to ground. Yep, so power to power. And data to data. Awesome. Okay, I think we might be good. Whew! That was a little scary, folks. Soldering irons, what can I tell you? Scary things. Okay. V out to V, and I'll just get these two connected first, and I'll put them onto the chain. So as I said, a lot of inspiring channels. I wouldn't have continued working with electronics, I guess, if it wasn't for all the amazing people producing content on YouTube. You know, reading blogs and stuff, it takes a lot of time, and you really have to concentrate when you're reading theory and stuff. But watching people do stuff live in a video, well, not live, but in a video, really makes it easier for me to understand. I'm a visual guy, so I tend to learn things visually. Okay. I'm going to pull the power out of this while I do this, just so we can get a bit of a surprise to see if it works. Because it's either going to work or fail, right? I'm either going to have dead pixels or I'm not. It's going to work, it's not going to work. So I want to thank all the content creators out there that have inspired me to not only learn and build some amazing projects, but to also start my own channel. And a lot of my motivation for doing the channel is just to keep me motivated building stuff. Otherwise, I'd have no reason to build things. So, whoa, okay. I need to get them all on here so you can see them all. Come on. Are they all on? You can see them all? Okay, it should go 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try this, please. If I can plug it in. Oh, come on, that's upside down. Don't plug the power in upside down. Sound. Okay, ready, set. Uh-oh. Let's try that again. I didn't see a power light. Oh, now I did. Okay, now I've got nothing. That is not good. Oh. Why does it think I'm in programming mode? On my microcontroller. Let's unplug these and see if we can just get two of them. Oh. Okay. That is not looking good at all. See if we can get two back. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, so what's if we unplug those? See if we can get these working. This could be a fail, folks. Could be a fail. Oh, 1. Okay, we've got a 1 there. Why don't we have a 2? Let me just plug these back in again. data, ground. Okay, looks like this board might be bad. So should be a good one. Let's try this again. Oh, no, we have a one there. So, it could be my code. It's quite possible it's my code. I know what it is. It is my code. Well done. So I told it to display 1, 2, 3, 4, but I didn't increase the number of pixels. That was clever. Let's go do that. Back soon. Okay, I'm back, and I've got some good and some bad news. So the good news was, yes, I forgot to increase the digits, so I was only telling it to display 2 digits. Whoa. The bad news is... Now that's interesting. What's happened now? It's supposed to be doing A, B, C, and D. That's upside down. Why is that not showing correctly? It's supposed to be an A. I'll just leave that as a 4 by accident. Okay, that might be 4. 4, B, C, and D. That's what it's supposed to be showing. But as you can see here, this last board isn't working. It just shows random array of digits. So I definitely did, and I'm pretty sure this is the board that I made a mess on. So I need to see if I can do some cleanup on it, see if I can get it functional. I'm not going to do that on video. But the good news is one of them worked, and I can do multi-digit display, which is great. But yeah, I think that bridge that I did, that I tried to clean up, I think I might have done something to the board. I'll have to go through and check every single pixel, the data, in and out, the continuity, everywhere. I know the power was going through, and I know that the ground was going through, or the ground will go through because it's using a ground plane anyway. But yeah, I've got a problem somewhere which I need to fix. It doesn't matter where I put this in the sequence. It could just be the only one on the sequence and still display the wrong information on the screen, on the display. Anyway, thanks for watching. That was much longer than I thought it was going to be. It was semi-successful. I've got 3 digits, so I can at least show my current subscriber count, but I can't show my view count. And I definitely can't show if I go above 999 subscribers. And let's face it, we all want to hit the 1,000 mark now, don't we, with the new rules with YouTube and monetization. So, thank you for watching. Please go and subscribe to all of the content creators that I mentioned, because they all deserve your attention, because they're all fantastic, because they all helped me get to where I am today. And if you feel like it, please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, leave comments on my video. Any help that you could give me in growing my channel would be fantastic, but I love just engaging with you all. So if you've got any questions about the project or any feedback on how I could do things better, please put them in the comments below. Until next time, bye, happy Saturday.